Namaste. My name is Dr. Pranita Gopal and I'm here a faculty at the CIET NCERT. And on behalf of everybody from us who are present in the studio, the team at CIET NCERT and Adobe, I welcome all of you to this live session which is being transmitted on the DTH channel number 14 and the NCERT YouTube events live channel. We are very delighted to have amongst us today educators and teacher educators from the states of Delhi, Gujarat, Orissa, Assam, Andhra Pradesh and Haryana who are joining us on this pilot program on digital creativity and AI skills using Adobe Express. And thank you so much for tuning in today on this event here with us. With the NEP 2020, we have all realized that technology plays a great role in improving the classroom dynamics. Technology has a potential to change the classroom teaching learning environment by giving students and teachers opportunities to enhance their learning skills and make the classroom learning enjoyable. It also ensures that students have access to knowledge in various fields. And with this aim, here we have started this pilot program with Adobe to try and create a very synergistic association for teachers, students and teacher educators so that technology is infused into every part of our curriculum. As an introductory part, we will quickly watch a video that shows us the journey so far.
NCERT, in collaboration with Adobe India, presents a pioneering online training program. Discover the power of Adobe Express and Adobe Acrobat with AI Assistant to bring digital creativity and AI skills into the classroom. Starting from 6th of June till the end of July, join us every Tuesday and Thursday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. Tune in to the NCERT Events YouTube channel and be a part of the future of education.
So welcome back. You've all just seen in the video the pilot program which officially started on the 3rd of June and will be on till the 31st of July. During this pilot program, we have learnt about various concepts that help us infuse technology into the classroom and create a very engaging learning environment. The pilot program is scheduled to run from 3rd of June till the 31st of July on various days, like Tuesdays and Thursdays. There is a slight change in the schedule that we will be sharing with you shortly. In order to begin the program, it is my pleasure to welcome in the studio with us, we have Ms. Jasmeet from Adobe, we have Ms. Sanjala Pandita from the DLF Public School, and amongst us we also have Vijayalakshmi ma'am who's teaching in the MAN school. Welcome all of you. All the panelists today will take us on a very exciting journey of how they have used Adobe in the classroom to make the social science classroom a very dynamic and interesting environment. So over to you, Jasmeet.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Pranita. So, hello and welcome teachers. Thanks a lot for joining us today from various parts of the country. A very, very warm welcome to all of you for our today's session on social studies. As you all know that in social studies, we get to turn our students into engaged citizens of the world. And in order for students to understand the complexities of governments, nations, cultures and society, they have to learn how to understand and express complex ideas about the relationship between individual and communities across time. In today's session, you learn about many applications Adobe Express has for teaching and learning in social studies classes. And we will also explore creative and simple activities that are aimed at supporting you and your students throughout the project. We all also know that social science classes aren't just about analyzing ancient text. Students need to be able to analyze and create multimedia artifacts such as documents, videos, images, interviews, political cartoons, audio recordings, and more. And all of this is possible on Adobe Express. Teachers who have joined us already and who have been throughout with us in our journey know that we can all create these beautiful graphics, animations, generative AI creations on Adobe Express, and that is what we're also going to explore today. Today, we'll also learn how to help our 21st century students interact with and interpret all kinds of digital artifacts, while also creating their own media to practice communication and disclosure around complex civic topics. We are going to also use exciting generative AI tools like text-to-image, text effects that are really a fun way to engage students thinking creatively in the classroom and provide them with a strong set of creative building blocks to help launch and create any projects that they want to. So let's begin our session for the day, and without further ado, I would like to invite Sanjali ma'am to start with her session, where she'll talk with us more on how we can integrate social studies for our middle school students.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk about Adobe Express, how we can use in our classroom and create and change our classroom scenario and making them as think rooms. So our classrooms basically always had a challenge of collaborative tasks, wherein we always had, as educators, we always felt that how to collaborate with our learners. And here we found that this digital creativity has really helped us out in collaborating the tasks or the projects which we are doing into our classrooms, and help all the learners to come on the same platform, that is, they use the collaborative link, and thus enables us to use these Adobe tools and help the learners to connect well. So it's not a difficult task for them. They connect, they share their ideas, and they thus change the scenario of the classroom altogether. This is how we overcome the challenge of collaboration using Adobe Express digital tools. Before I begin, let me ask our learners a question. Our viewers, the question for you is, how can we make subject EVS fun and interesting for our learners? I am going to share a QR code for the Padlet link. So here is the code I am going to share. So kindly just copy this QR code. So I want everyone to copy this code and start sharing your responses. I think we can give them 30 to 40 seconds to do that.
So while our viewers are sending us answers on this QR code, viewers, you already know, and you have been doing this for a long time, you know how to scan the QR code and share your responses with us. We request you to just quickly scan the QR code and share your responses with us about this question that ma'am just shared, so that we all know what our learners are thinking for today, what our educators are thinking, and then we can proceed to the next leg of our session for today.
And this question is very pertinent because it helps everybody realize and understand, and more importantly piques the curiosity of the learners, because EVS is all about what we see around in our world. So without moving and wasting any further time, could we have a look at the Padlet?
Yes, ma'am.
So while the Padlet is opening up, I'm sure all our social studies teachers are very, very excited to learn about all the new techniques that we're going to talk about. As I said, generative AI is one big thing, and you would all have seen in the topic that we have included AI for today's topic. So we would want you all also to log into your accounts and create along with us, so that by the end of the session, you can also share your creations with us on a separate Padlet, how you have been sharing with us your creations in every session. We would love for you all to sign into your Adobe Express accounts and to share your creations with us that you're doing along with us, our teachers in this session so that we all can learn together and collaborate together. So let's see if we have got some responses on the Padlet. Can we have the screen, please?
We have got one response so far, the storytelling. So storytelling can be really a fun to teach EVS in our classrooms. Waiting for a few more.
I think let's just start with the next part, ma'am, and
Right.
I'm hoping that teachers are already into like writing in the responses for this Padlet. So let's move ahead.
Fine,
Yeah?
ma'am. Fine.
All right.
So thank you, audience, for joining with us. So now let's discuss how Adobe learning tools support both educators as well as learners. First of all, I'm going to talk about from the educator's perspective how these Adobe Express is helping us in our classrooms. So this tool is really helpful for creating better lesson plans. I would say the innovative lesson plans. Other than that, we can use Adobe web page to make our presentations on various concepts in EVS. Let me show you the sneak peek of the lesson created using the template web page. Here it is. So I hope everybody knows how to log in for the Adobe Express, and when you go to your when you sign into the Adobe Express, you are going to create beautiful lessons. Here is one sneak peek of the lesson which is taken from Basava's farm, that is the NCERT chapter of class 4, wherein we are going to talk how soil is important for us and how we can conserve soil and how we can prevent soil erosion. So let me just share it. So the name of the topic is the layer of life, wherein we have brought the concept of Basava's farm into this topic. So we know that it has helped us to create enriching lesson plans, and viewers, you know that while we were doing the traditional mode of making lesson plans on the piece of paper and taking us so much long, and that were not also appealing lesson plans. So I think that this tool has really helped as an educator. It has really helped me to make the lesson plans more interesting for the learners itself, because we know that while we are in the classrooms, we have to talk about the expected learning outcomes. So when I connect these expected learning outcomes with the text images, when I merge both the things, the plan really becomes very much attractive and appealing. So here is an example of the lesson plan which I have created with the expected learning outcomes. Then I have embedded certain videos where the learner can just watch this video, come prepared to the class, and I can take a flipped classroom in my classroom as a topic, soil erosion and soil conservation. Not only this, you can see the different images with the text we have merged to create this lesson better in the classroom, where the children connect well with the real life. Basically EVS is all about connecting with the real life, right? So this is how we are going to create lesson plans as well as the lessons more attractive and more innovative into our classrooms. So this was all about how educators' perspective, and not only that, I am going to take you to one more exciting part of Adobe Express, that is how to use AI generator. So AI generator is basically a tool that is very useful to create stories, because NCERT focuses mostly on the storytelling pedagogy, which is a very important pedagogy in NCERT books. So I think that this AI generator is helping us to create beautiful stories and on any of the topics in the EVS, and just derive the concept from the learners using these stories as a strategy, as a pedagogical strategy. So I think I can have one sneak peek of this using AI generator. So let me just show you how we can just use AI generator as to create a story on any of the topics. So here, when you go to your page, you can just scroll down and you will see there is this text to image, generate images using AI. So I can type any topic. For example, I want to see soil, or I want to say trees in the forest. So wherein I can just generate the image related to trees in the forest. You can just scroll down, there can be many images related to it. Or
so ma'am, you mean to say that once we have a topic in mind, we can go to our
Yes.
text to image feature
Yes.
and we can create beautiful creations
Yes,
for our
ma'am.
students,
Yes.
and they will be able to learn visually and they will be able to create themselves. That keeps them engaged in the classroom, correct?
Right.
So yeah, I think that's a great idea. Can we take a look at what is the creation that comes
Yes,
up when
ma'am.
we type
In
in,
the text prompt.
Yes.
type in the text prompt?
I'm just showing you how I have created, there's a story of a witch who lives in a forest and she's very fond of her beauty, and she doesn't want to get away with her beauty at all. And what she gets a magical idea in the forest that she has to cut all the trees in the forest, and then she will make a potion out of it, and then she can look beautiful throughout her age. So she did it, but ultimately what was the outcome? She just cut all the trees, and she found after some time the whole forest became a desert. So this is how you can connect with the topic, that what can lead to soil erosion, and what can lead to desertification. So this is the story on the importance of soil, where I have created this story.
Well, that's an amazing idea to show students how we should be
Yes.
conserving and preserving our environment, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
what better way
So
to
this
show
is
students?
how we can just create a story on the importance of soil. Like this is the forest, wherein you can put text as well as the images at the back. So this is how the animals live in the forest, this is the witch, and we can just see how we can put a story with the images at the back. And this is an interesting way. I could see that children were very much excited to see all the images along with the text, and they could connect well. And after asking many questions to them, they were able to derive the concept also of soil erosion, soil conservation, afforestation. All this was very much clear just with the sake of this story, which was created on AI generator. So
So that's a very interesting perspective. Just as a question, ma'am, as a user, did you change the image if you didn't like the image? Did
yes,
you...
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because I found when I got the image like witches, so there were beautiful witches also coming. There
Very
were very
scary.
scary
Yes,
witches.
because with kids you have
And
to be
when
very
I was
careful.
doing it, I was also doing it with my children also.
Oh.
They were telling, ma'am, this image is very good. Please make this. This
Oh.
is a scary witch. So that is all the most very exciting when you feel that children are well connected with you in the classroom.
Yes, because what the examples which you showed was something they're all used to seeing in their channels also, in the
Yes,
TV and
yes,
also, so they find that connect very interesting.
very
There was a
much.
very interesting point that you made about using flipped classroom pedagogy
Yes,
within
ma'am.
this. And I think if you have a web page created on a certain topic, then it makes sense because parents also get to know what is going to happen in case there is somebody who is not able to attend a class, also is aware. But more importantly, we are empowering our students to get an idea as to what is going to happen in the classroom and create a very meaningful and engaging discussion
Right,
amongst each other in the classroom.
Right.
So that's a very interesting perspective
Not only
of
this,
using.
ma'am, what we did after this, we engaged the students. It was the other way,
Yeah.
like given them certain characters and making a story out of it using AI generator. That was also done with the learners.
So, and I think since you're a teacher who takes grade 5 and grade 4 kids, your experience is very enriching because those are the kind of students who will actually help you. They're very enthusiastic. The students themselves are so enthusiastic to try and do new things, to be a participant in the learning process. So your experience is very valuable here, ma'am, and thank you for sharing that very interesting story and the deep insight that if you didn't like a certain image, your students helped you to bring in the idea. So that's brilliant.
Thank
so what
you.
else do you have to share with
Yes,
us, ma'am?
ma'am. I just have to share that we are just talking in NEP also, we are talking that this pedagogy, the storytelling pedagogy, is one of the best pedagogies to deal with class 4 and 5 kids, I think. Because they connect well with the real world scenarios, and they are that is also developing problem solving skills among them. So it's also helping them to become critical thinkers also and creative also. So that is how we are just trying to use Adobe web pages as well as AI generator for grade 4 and 5, because we want them to be age appropriate also. So till now we are just doing Adobe web page, the templates used in that, as well as AI generator to create stories, and also flyers we are using to have posters or some kind of any topic we give, and they create flyers and posters using the template flyer in the Adobe page. So that is also we do with grade 4-5 children.
And another idea, because now see, we were talking about NEP and we talk about the interdisciplinary nature of learning. I think with the AI story generator, it becomes imperative for us to also give students the worksheets like Jasmeet, where students can have sequence of stories which they've heard in the class on jumbled manner, and the teacher in a jiffy is able to have a good worksheet which parents also find interesting, and it adds to a discussion point because the parent is very curious to know what did you do in school, what was this image, and that helps create a bond that we all want to have with our children. And engaging in the learning journey is, I think, one of the most fulfilling parts of being a parent. So I think using the tool of an AI generator for images within the framework of social science, or as a matter of fact any subject, strengthens not only the language comprehension, because as you all are going to show in some time also, that the Adobe Express comes with this translate feature, the AI translate feature, that allows you to have your worksheets in multilingual formats. And so I think it's very important that all of us make use of this brilliant technology that you all are sharing with us. So thank you so much, ma'am. That's also very interesting. Yes, would you like to share some more?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It was just from the educator's point of view, basically, the perspective, how I am using it in my classrooms. But other perspective is the learner's perspective. How learners are learning using this Adobe Express tools. So they create, I said earlier also, they create certain flyers, they create certain, I'm just showing. They create certain posters, certain flyers using these Adobe Express tools, and that's also really helping them to connect well and try to solve the problem, the real world problem. So this is the flyer you can see the children have created into their classrooms, creating posters and using Adobe web page as templates. So you can just have a view of these posters, and this is how the learners connect well and help them to create better and become digitally strong day by day. That's what I wanted to express today.
So that is very interesting. Does also Adobe Express help you become inclusive within your classroom teaching learning process? Because we as a society are very inclusive, and I think our classroom should celebrate inclusivity. So would you like to share some ideas on that, ma'am?
So this storytelling and creating stories is really helpful for the differentiated learners in my classrooms. So because there are different learners, visual learners, and some are kinesthetic. So we think that this kind of pedagogy and this kind of creating stories with the images and all help all the learners to be a part of this Adobe Express program. So they create different stories, and what I feel that it caters to all the basically learners in my classroom, in my think rooms. So helping each and every learner to learn at their own pace. That is what is the idea we are using Adobe Express in our classroom.
That's like super interesting. Sanjala ma'am, just one more question that pops to my head is, you would have seen so many templates being used in Adobe. So, and I'm sure Jasmeet also will take us through many templates that are reusable at some point of time. Would you be sharing those templates also somewhere during our journey of today's session?
Yes,
Jasmeet?
definitely.
So
I'll do
that was like brilliant. And so basically we have seen so far Adobe Express gives us the ability to convert our classroom teaching learning into varied interesting options. It also allows us to use flipped learning pedagogy within our classroom, so that teachers are also engaged and parents are also engaged with the students. It is also my pleasure right now to have Vijayalakshmi ma'am with us, and Ma'am, we would like to hear about your experience of using Adobe Express, because you take them through the senior grades. So over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to speak about Adobe Express, which is helping the students to become proficient in digital tools, which is a critical skill in today's technology driven world. And when we are talking about Adobe Express, the proficiency is not only in the subject of social science, it is used in various subjects and future career paths. But if I start telling about the challenges which as a teacher I face in the classroom, we all used storytelling, role play. These were the different activities we used to perform. But one of the biggest challenge we faced was the differentiation which we used to find in the classrooms. We as a teacher at that time we used to become helpless how to cater to the needs of the diversified students. So Adobe Express helped us a lot in overcoming these challenges, and it also helped us in visible thinking. So before I proceed with my session, I would like to ask the educators present here that can they share their ideas, what do you think should be the best way to teach social science? You can drop it in a chat boxes, no issue regarding that, but just if I am getting an idea, maybe majority of you might be writing storytelling, role play or small skits being done in the classroom so that students can learn from it. But I agree with all this thing, but taking beyond Adobe Express, if we talk about Adobe Express, the main idea is to going beyond the textbooks, which makes social science a real, you can say, for students. It fosters critical thinking in them and also makes them to be an informed citizen. So here I proceed with the journey which I took alongside with my students. So we will proceed with this. First of all, I like to say here that Adobe Express has a lot of ready-made templates and it creates a visually engaging classrooms through which a variety of learning digital tools. It empowers everyone to create and communicate their own ideas. But as an educator, the first thing I will like to talk here is about lesson plan. This is what lot of ready-made templates are available. You can choose, you can edit as per your needs, and these are the two examples of the lesson plan which is created by me on the chapters as per the NCERT books. Now moving further, if I go other than lesson plans, if I am talking about it, flyers, infographic, worksheets. Here incorporating Adobe tools to create flyers and infographics for social science classes not only enhances learning but also helps students develop valuable designs and one of the 4 C's, that is the communication skills. So these are the worksheets or the flyers which my students have created, like the non-cooperation movement from the history chapter, and then moving on you can see various social movements they have tried to share, functions of the government from the political science they have taken it, and even worksheets can be created which can be shared with the students on which they can write about the powers and the functions of the Indian president. Then not only this, Adobe Express helps a lot in creating infographics, especially for historical timelines. They can be World War, any historical event where it can be highlighted through the timeline where students can express. And one of the biggest problem is learning the year, in which year it happened, the event. So that creates a lot of problem. My students keep on asking me, ma'am, how you are able to remember it? Because we used to relate a date or a year with some of the incidents and we used to recall. But now we have the timeline with us. So we can create it, which will help us to learn the data or the year in which the event took place. So now if we see on that, these are the timelines which are created by my students of class 9th and 10th. And even I used to give them the worksheet, if you see like this. These are all the creativity of my students who have created it so that they can learn easily, which used to be very difficult for them in the past. Now moving on to grids. If I talk about grids, grids are very helpful in comparative studies. Like political science chapters, if we take power sharing, the case studies which are introduced by NCERT, nowadays lot of case studies are coming forward. So if we talk about it, power sharing in Belgium and Sri Lanka, this is one of the grid created by my student. It made it easy for him to learn this comparison. Then coming to the animated videos, if I talk about it. NEP talks a lot about differentiation. Through these animated videos or data presentation or through bar diagrams, this all helped us to cater to the needs of the differentiated learners and bring inclusivity into our classrooms. In economics, before that, animated videos, I'll just show one of the students who has created it. It is for the students who sometimes feel difficult to learn, to read. They can listen and grab it more. So this is also a way, I don't know whether voice is. So this is just an example of how here the student is talking about the three sectors of the economy, just defining the primary sector, the secondary sector and the tertiary sector. So this helps a student a lot about all these things so that they can learn it, and it will be very easy for the students to go with it. So I am taking back to the page where I have shared with you the creativity of my students who helped other students, because peer learning is also one of the best thing which I feel. Through this they help each other, and the peer learning has become, I think, is a necessity in today's classroom so that they can learn better and enhance more knowledges. Now moving on to data presentation through bar graph. Lot of ready-made templates are available on Adobe if we talk about these bar diagrams. So when I am talking about these bar diagrams, just a minute, I will scroll it down and show it in a, these are the bar diagrams which tells us about the share of sectors in GDP in economics. These are created by the students. Some students feel better in learning through this. And if I talk about it, it has not only helped the students but also the teachers in creating multiple worksheets. If I talk about the bar diagrams, because case studies are coming, we need it in power sharing of Sri Lanka or Belgium, we can create the pie charts and other things on the Excel sheets, and then we can transform them in Adobe flyers and infographics or the posters, through which we can learn better. And in creating multiple question papers, because we have to create. So in one question paper we can give about the bar diagrams. The same data can be used for the other question paper as a pie chart, so that it will be easy for the students also as well as for the teachers also to understand it in a better way, and they can, I think, answer it very accurately and in a better way. So this is what mainly here which helps. So a lot of discussions is there in the NCF framework on 4 C's, and Adobe helps a lot in this. The 4 C's, when we talk about communication, creativity, collaboration and critical thinking. And for collaboration, the best thing is the web pages. You can create on any topics you want. It's not only that you have to create subject related. Even as an educator, if I am teaching one of the sections, I can take help of the teacher of the other section who can help us in creating a beautiful web pages for the students. So if we invite the collaborators to join with us on the web page, they can join it and ideas can come out with it. So, creativity is also enhanced, and when we share the link with the students also put in their ideas, because we know nowadays they are digitally smart, they do better. So, their ideas can also be incorporated in this thing. So, in the last, I will just like to say that Adobe, if we talk of the benefits of the Adobe, it is a user friendly tool, visually appealing learning materials and visually engaging classrooms. If I talk about it, visually engaging classrooms are there, and a lot of collaborative projects can be created. And above all, as I say, main thing is to satisfy the needs of the diversified students in the classroom. This is the best thing which helps the educators a lot in doing it. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
So thank you so much, ma'am. That was very interesting for us to also understand. And I really like the part where you had very beautifully explained that Adobe Express gives you this opportunity to cater to the 4 C's simultaneously, because you not only learn how to communicate, you also learn how to collaborate with each other, not only for submitting, be tolerant towards each other's opinions on a web page and all. So those are very important skills that we need as a society. So thank you so much, ma'am. And I wanted to also share another idea which I thought was very interesting, which you said about using the same diagram, same data as a bar chart and using the same data as a pie chart, creating a kind of a differentiated structure within the classroom for assessments, so that students also get exposure and they also get a practice of doing the questions in different formats. So these are great takeaways that any social science teacher who's watching us today and will be watching the replays of these shows can actually try and do this in their classrooms and create a learning environment which is not only engaging but very rewarding. So thank you so much, ma'am. Sanjila ma'am, would you like to add another point which
Yes,
we were discussing earlier?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to share some of the evidences from my think rooms.
Yes, please.
Where the learners have created certain videos. So that's how I'm just going to play it.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how one of my grade 5 learner has done it. So this is the poster which he has created, I think.
Can we have the screen, please?
Yes.
So this is, I just played from the beginning. This is how he has created using the templates of Adobe Express and created a video out of the templates. So on the soil erosion and how we can save soil and how we can save our planet on Earth, right?
So that's like brilliant, because students get the opportunity to try diverse forms of assessment also.
Yes, and other learners have just created only flyers, only posters. This child created a poster and a flyer combining both in the form of video. That was basically the diverse thing which we have seen in the classrooms.
No, and it also showcases a lot of engagement happening within the learner, because I think any classroom where a student wishes to experiment with something, with knowledge itself speaks volumes about the dynamics which is happening within the classroom. So that is very interesting for us. I think it's also up, that we are lucky also to have a teacher who's going to share her experience of using Adobe Express in the social science classroom through a video. In this video, the teacher takes us through the journey which she has had, where she finds that using Adobe Express cements what both the teachers here with us on the studio have been trying to explain and showcase to us. So could we please have the video of our teacher who's joining us?
Good evening everyone. I am Priyanka Suthar and I teach social science to the students of grade 6 to 8 at Reliance Foundation School, Subhanpura, Vadodara. You all know, technology plays a crucial role in education. Being Microsoft Showcase School, we are committed to incorporate technology as a teaching learning process. Implementing technology is not only engages our students, but also helps them to develop essential 21st century learning skills such as critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. As a social science teacher, I must tell you how difficult it is to draw the attention of our students throughout the session, because engaging them with the content is the mammoth task for all of us. But let me tell you, incorporating technology has become an effective pedagogical approach. I have been using many educational tools such as Padlet, Mentimeter, Kahoot, etc. Along with all these tools, Adobe Express has also become an incredible educational tool, making the session more interactive, creative, and engaging. Its various features has helped me to make the concept more interesting and visually appealing. Let me take this opportunity to share my insights with all of you on how I have been utilizing Adobe Express to make my classroom more interesting and fun. So let me share my screen with all of you. Dear teachers, here you can see the homepage of Adobe Express. You are having various options here. You can choose any one of them and start preparing your content. I have chosen its presentation feature and prepared a presentation on Adobe Express. The best part of this presentation feature is that it allows you to insert audio visuals. Here on the screen you can see I have added audio visuals. So when your students are watching such presentations, it will become easy for them to comprehend the concept. I have also prepared many worksheets from the readily available templates in Adobe Express. Let me show you one example. I had prepared this worksheet on natural resources to introduce my topic. Let me show you one more example. I have also prepared a worksheet on a history topic for the assessment purpose. So assessment in my classroom goes beyond a traditional test. I evaluate my students on their ability to utilize the technology to create projects that demonstrate their learning, their understanding, and creativity. I have given them one project to create a web page on a work of a river. So here on the screen you can see the web page created by my student. Let me show you one more example. This is another web page on Mughal monuments created by my student as an assessment project. So when the students are preparing such presentations, they can learn to research, synthesize information, and present it in a clear and compelling manner. This not only enhances their knowledge, but also prepares them for real-world challenges. In conclusion, incorporating technology into my teaching methodologies has transformed the way my students interact with the social science subject. Utilizing Adobe Express as an incredible educational tool has empowered them to become active learners and equipped them with the most essential 21st learning century skills to succeed in the future. Thank you so much.
So that was a very interesting example that we saw of how teachers are using web pages. We were having this quick discussion with the teachers here in the studio, and we realized web pages happen to be one vibrant environment where teachers are able to integrate various multimedias at one platform and with ease. And as I was thinking through, I realized that as a teacher, I would love to have a collated experience for students to go back to, where they can see not only the posters that were added, they can also see the questions that were given to them, or look at the timelines and even download the worksheets. Now that's the power which a tool like Adobe Express is giving teachers, so as to help them create a learning environment which is truly made for their classroom. So Jasmeet, why don't you take us through these very interesting templates that come inbuilt within Adobe Express, and which social science teachers especially are able to take benefit from?
Sure, I'll do that. So as you all can see, I have Adobe Express opened up on my screen, and that's my home screen for today. So as you can see, it says, "Hi Jasmeet, my name," and I have options of creating a video, creating a graphic, drawing a picture, building a web page, and anything that I want to do on Express. For today, I will start with some of the educator templates or resources that I can start using directly for social studies. So let's say I want to create a graphic, or I'm looking for a template of any worksheet on Adobe Express related to a social science topic, or I would say even like divisions that we have among social science, history or geography or economics. So I'll just go and very quickly click on create graphic option for today. And as you all can see, and as you all have been seeing and working on Express, that we usually get like a blank screen. Now in this blank screen, our ideas are usually like, we think about what kind of text we should bring in for a specific template, what kind of background images we should have, which is why Adobe Express keeps you covered with the different templates that are available. Let's say for today, I'm just about to write social studies first, and let's see if some templates come up. So I'm going to write that over here and just keep it very, very simple. So when I just type social science, you see there are about 2400 results of social science, where you see different templates. These are worksheets, these are infographics, these are also various timeline events, or you could see even like posters and anything that you would want to create in the classroom. So let's say if I want to click on one of these, this one says types of farming in India. That's one information piece that you can show in your classroom. Then there's another one which talks about parliament and how a parliament is, right? So the role and importance of parliament. So you have like a ready-made worksheet that you can start working on. If I talk about another thing, which is types of community, there's another one that says type of community. And if I have to show you, like increase the size and show you what is written inside this, you'll see that it talks about urban communities, suburban and rural as well. So this is the way that I can search for many templates on Adobe Express related to any specific topic on a social science. But let's say I'm going to get a bit more specific, and let's say I type geography, and then I'll see what happens. So if I just type geography, it gives me about geography worksheets or anything related to geography that I might find on Adobe Express. Look at this activity, very quick, simple and very intuitive activity for students to solve this crossword puzzle using these questions that I mentioned below. And if I have to like increase the size and show you what it talks about, so you can see it has a group of islands, meaning height above sea level. So these are all such nice activities built in on Adobe Express that you can use readily in your classroom. Similarly, if I have to talk about another thing of geography, you can see there's one that talks about draw and define these landform features. So students are able to draw in here and also define what these particular landform features are. So Dr. Pranita, you can see this is also intuitive and creative, and students get a chance to sort of create within Adobe Express and work with teachers as well.
Yes, and I really liked your crossword idea. I was just thinking about that because if you can bring the crossword up onto the screen,
yeah.
As a teacher, we want students to also use their vocabulary, because every language, every subject has its own vocabulary, and giving them crosswords also helps them look into the intersection of how language, the role of language within the subject. So it's very interesting that Adobe is having crosswords as a template, and it also gives the teachers the opportunity to tweak around to ensure they are able to customize their crosswords in a very interesting manner. And lastly, I also remember as a teacher that whenever we used to give crosswords, it was a very interesting way. Instead of asking for definitions of anything, you give them crosswords, and it is an interesting activity within the classroom which checks a lot of learning boxes. So thank you so much. We are looking forward to more such templates.
Yes, definitely. And while you were talking about the vocab words thing, one thing that crossed my mind was that we use a lot of vocabulary in social studies, and there are so many words and new terms to learn for. On Adobe Express, you can create flashcards, you can create vocabulary cards that you can share with students, and you can also ask them to maybe bring up 5 words from today's lesson and make it as like a flashcard, right? So that way students are learning and students are also creating, and because when they're creating, when they're doing things, then they're also learning these amazing things. So I can also bring up a couple of those templates, and as you can...
While you bring bring that up, I also say that, it's important to realize today, not only students and teachers, we came across this very interesting word called the prosumer. So a prosumer is a producer and a consumer. So within the classroom learning environment, I think it's very nice that students get this opportunity to not only produce and showcase the information that they've learned, but also become active consumers of the experience that the teacher is bringing into the classroom. So that's a fantastic, example of students and teachers becoming prosumers. That is a mixture of becoming a producer and a consumer of knowledge. So yeah, looking forward to the template that you said, especially for the flashcards. So can these flashcards be integrated into the web pages, Jasmeet?
Yeah, of course, we
Oh,
can
that's
download
interesting.
them.
Yeah, as images.
Yeah, we can download them as images, or we could also like publish them and we could share those links. So we can have like a group of flashcards as one link, group of another lesson flashcards as another link, and that brings in like a lot of creativity on the web page itself, because the students can see chapter 1, these flashcards, chapter 2, these number of flashcards or new terms that they learn. So that is like an amazing thing to do. So as you can see on the screen, there's one which says the sun. Now, if we have like a new word, which is something that I don't know or I have heard for the first time, I could also bring in a picture for it. I could put in that picture over here and I could describe that, and then I could just duplicate this flashcard and create like maybe 5 more similar flashcards and put it as a link on my web page.
That's
so
very
that
interesting.
becomes very, very interesting. Apart from this, I was talking about the vocab thing as well. So let's say if I talk vocabulary over here and I just say vocabulary words or vocabulary sheets, I will have vocabulary worksheets that I can customize. Now this one is like a very basic one in which already words are given, but you could also have like plain worksheets in which the vocab words are only given and you have to just type in word meanings. So you have learned that in the classroom, what this word means for the day. And you can have that, or you can have like word of the day, for example.
Okay.
That's an amazing example. So I'll also actually just now take a step back and actually move to our next topic for today. I was also thinking on how we can have just one worksheet for different kind of learners. So let's say if I'm talking about a specific topic, let's say climate change or conservation or weather, I can have like worksheets of a similar topic for my learners who are slow learners, or for learners who I know that I can keep them engaged and I can have like more activities for them, right? So on my screen, I have already pulled out certain examples. As you can see, there's this one climate like I would say infographic that I had pulled up, in which you all can see that there are so many factors that are coming into picture, and along with that the climate types are mentioned. This is something in which I could also like omit these particular sentences that are written, and I could just ask my students to start typing in these. So I could either just send them virtually these worksheets, or I could like get printouts of them and then share it with them as well. Similarly, if I want to do it with like I would say kids for grade 3 to 5. These are like very basic worksheets which have like visual elements which will allow them to see, and also along with seeing they'll be like okay, this is
Engagement of content happens.
Engagement of content happens, and they'll also be interested in looking at these images. Look how cute they are, and then they can like just summarize the entire worksheet, and at the last they can type in what causes climate change. So how creative this becomes for a student who has learned about a new topic in the class, and now it's like just a summary of all the things that they have learned and then putting it up in this particular
So
worksheet.
another very interesting thing, Jasmeet, is that when you have these visual elements within the worksheet, it also gives the students visual cues so that they don't feel scared if they don't know
Yes.
the answer. The visual cues help them build the answer, and that automatically, builds their self-esteem and confidence in the class. And that's why we have enough research which says using visual elements helps students overcome the hurdles which is something we all experience in our learning journey. So that's great. And because you have these inbuilt templates within the Adobe Express, it gives a lot of leeway to teachers to actually work on creating content which is useful for their particular classroom, instead of worrying about how to design a worksheet, what color combinations to
Yes.
use. So yeah, I'm super excited.
So I have another one which is a very simple one. You can see it says climate change global impact and 6 negative effects of climate change. Now this is something that any student can come up with, right? Or maybe anything that they have learned. But look at this, how beautiful and creative it gets. Effects on children, effects on the elderly, effects on animals, along with these small cute pictures and I would say icons that when students relate to, they will automatically think of somebody in their family or their pet animal, and they will know that, oh, I remember this from Diwali, that my pets were very scared of the sound pollution and everything, and then they can sort of fill in these examples over here.
Or also become very aware, you know, when they look around in their surroundings and realize that you know, when the cows eat the garbage off, they are in the plastic, if the garbage is encased in a plastic cover, what is the effect it has, or if somebody is not being kind towards a pet dog, how does the dog feel? And of course this doesn't directly relate to climate change, but in summers we all have seen birds don't get water to drink and how parched they are, and they all are you know, looking for water. So these visual cues, as I was telling you earlier, essentially bring the you know, creative juices, and it triggers the thoughts for the students to move ahead. So that's like fantastic, brilliant.
Yeah, and teachers, because you're all joining us today as well, and I'm sure that you're all signed in as well, we would love for you also to create like a very simple worksheet that you might have thought of during this session, because we would love to see your creations, what you're creating along with us. So I would say that don't take much time. Pull up a template that you like and start editing inside it. Take 1 or 2 minutes, maybe create something, and then I'll share a Padlet QR code with all of you on which you can share your creations with us today as well. And with that, I'm going to move to one last thing for today with the templates, with respect to the templates. So as I was talking about specific topics, right? So you know that I picked up vocabulary and then flashcards. We typed in major like subject headings. We typed in geography, we typed in social sciences. Now let's say if I'm looking at a specific topic, as I just explained, like the climate change bit, let's say I want to teach them about the water cycle. There are so many examples and templates related to water cycle, and very cute ones, I tell you, and very interesting and engaging ones as well, that you can pick according to your class levels. So you can see there's one which is very simple, describes everything simply. There's another one which is a little too much and has a lot of content also, so that you can engage your senior grade students with this. There's another one which is like simple plain template, in which you request your students to make connections and sort of fill in this entire process. So it gives them a recall of what they have learned in the classroom, and they sort of bring in their elements in here. Similarly, if you look at this one, weather cycle steps, this one again is something in which students can make connections, and they can start talking about where does this happen, what happens in condensation or collection, evaporation, etc. So these are all the examples that you can learn from, and then of course, as I said, you can type in your topics, maybe whatever you're teaching in the classroom right now, you could just take a shot, go to templates, type in that and see what comes up as templates. And then I'm sure you'll all be amazed to see all these beautiful templates, and you'll be like forced to use these templates in your classroom because you're going to love them, and you're going to want your students also to work on them.
Yeah, and I think the best part about all these templates, Jasmeet, is that you can customize them. You can, we all in the earlier sessions of Adobe Express, when we did the mandatory portion of the Adobe Express training, we all learned about how to manipulate each of these templates so as to customize the templates according to our needs, according to our learners' needs. And in the sessions earlier also, we had the opportunity to discuss and see how we were able to translate text into multiple languages so as to not let language be a barrier in the classroom. And I think that's the power of having templates available. But if you want to use a template, you should know about it. And I think Jasmeet and the two teachers who have joined us here, Sanchila ma'am and ma'am Vijayalakshmi ma'am, have given us very deep insights of how they have been able to mold the classroom dynamics so as to ensure greater engagement. Now that's very interesting. Before I forget, there is also a reminder that there is a project submission due from all our viewers for the part A, that is the mandatory training that we have had. And I would like and request all of you to please submit your projects. Jasmeet, would you like to share the details, please?
Yeah, sure. So as you all can see on my screen, we have our project A listed over here. We had requested you to choose any one of these projects and submit this to us in the submission form that is linked. Now this particular web page has been sent to all of you on your, whoever has registered with us on their registered email IDs, and you pick up one of these projects that you really want to create something on it Express, and then you click on this Project A submission form. Once you click here, a Microsoft form opens up for you where you click in Start Now and you start typing in your name, your school, your registered email ID, and type in all the details, and finally you type in the link that you have created for your project. So for example, if I choose to create an animate video on English or Hindi poem, I will create a published link for it and I will copy paste that link over here. Just to let you know how to create that published link, let's say this is my project for today. I click on the share button, and once I click on the share button and my file sort of loads in, I will have an option that says publish to web. I think it's going to take a couple of seconds, but let's wait for this to pop up. There it is. So you all can see a publish to web option appears. You click on this publish to web option. You name your file, anything that you would want to. So for example, if I am a grade 9 teacher and I've done a project on English poem, so I can say my name and English poem grade 9, and then I can click on publish link button. Once I click on the publish link button, you all will see that the link has been published, and once you see the link appearing over here, the published link, you will be able to see that you can copy that link directly from here to the form. So what you have to do is click on copy link, go to your form, and then paste that link over here, and that's about it. You click on the submit button, your submission is done. But you have to ensure all your questions have been answered over here. Also, we have shared a video of how you can submit the project, so you can just watch this video as well. There's another one which is the project B, which also we have updated on the web page. You all can see this project is about create a web page on any one of the themes provided below. So you could pick up any of these themes, and once you have picked up these themes and you have created your project, again you follow the same steps. You click on Project B submission form and you go to Start Now, and then you type in your instructions, and finally you will just paste your Project A link over here. So that's how you will be submitting your both the projects. Project 1 deadline was extended, so we would like all of you to submit your creations to us by the end of this week. And for Project B, the submission deadline is 5th of August 2024. So I request all of you to submit these projects. Along with that, I know that you have been with us throughout the session, and I'm sure there are so many questions popping up in your head right now about how to use Adobe Express in social science as a subject. So if you do have questions, please type them in the YouTube chat box, and we will address your questions, and we'll take up those questions and answer those for you.
So as the questions are coming in, we have the two teachers who are also practitioners and who are dealing with Adobe Express and using Adobe Express. So ma'am, just a quick question. So what is the reaction of parents when you tell them that this is a tool that you're using? Are they very happy about it, or do they feel that they need more training? What is your experience of dealing with parents when they use Adobe Express? We would love to hear your views on that, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So I would say that parents are always happy when their kids are happy. So I have always felt it like that in my school and in my classroom. So what I feel that collaboration was always a challenge for us, and it was not a challenge for us only when we did create certain teams, live teams in the classroom, like this is team 1, this is team 2, and then we gave some project based learning to them. What was the outcome? That parents were not able to connect with the students, they were working, they had problems. And when we gave them this platform of Adobe Collaborative Link, where they together worked, the learners had the onus of learning on their own without interference of their parents, and I think that parents are all happy about it using this Adobe.
So that is very interesting. Ma'am, in the senior classes, how did the parents take to using Adobe tools, and especially Adobe Express with the templates and all?
Actually, if I talk about the senior classes, in the classes the parents feel happy when they see about these various tools. When students make flyers, infographic, grids or other things at the home, they come to know that yes, the creativity of a student is coming out and the student is trying to express his or her views digitally. So that they really feel happy, they come, they appreciate also that ma'am, this tool is very good. And if somewhere they feel, some of the parents come and say, ma'am, please teach us also.
Oh, that's
Like
so
I'll just
sweet.
say one thing, like grid. One parent came to me when a PTM was there. So I asked a student to make a grid. So she said, ma'am, my daughter was doing, suddenly I thought of taking the family photographs and putting it in the grid
That
and
is so
making it
nice.
as a form of a collage. So not only parents, not only students, rather parents are also very much happy with this tool and they feel that yes, students are learning and they are in this present modern world which is technologically driven. They feel that yes, their kids are also leading ahead and trying to gain a lot. That's what I'm
That's a very interesting perspective, you know, and as a parent myself, you want to be engaged in every activity that your child is doing. You also want to be able to do and enjoy with them. As you know, the teachers were discussing about how the Adobe Express is being used by the students and getting them to getting the parents involved in the teaching learning process just tells us that learning cannot just happen in silos. We need everybody to contribute to the learning journey. So that was very interesting. Submissions that have come in where teachers have showcased all that they have done till now. So why don't you quickly take us through some of those Padlet submissions and let's give them a shout out for those who have done a fantastic job, because we've been looking at the Padlets and marveling the kind of experience and marveling the kind of work the teachers are putting in today. It always tells us that a happy classroom is where there is a happy teacher. And I think the projects that Jasmeet is going to showcase today would be a testament to that. So Jasmeet, over to you.
Yeah, sure. And I'd like to actually start with a question that I also saw in the chat box, which was that can we share these worksheets with our students?
Yeah, that's
and
a very important
absolutely,
question.
yeah, of course, because we are creating and we are doing so many things on Express. So why not share those creations with our students and make them also aware of the kind of worksheets that we are creating so that they have access to it. So I'll actually start with that and then I'll move to the Padlet if you don't
Yes,
mind.
no, please.
So I'll just start with that. So let's say, look at my, if I look at my screen, I have my blank screen over here right now, sorry, my home page. I go to my Your Stuff option where I have my list of worksheets that I've created. Let's pick up the first one that I was working on today. So once you have created a worksheet, you all can see that on Adobe Express, there are 2-3 ways to share this with my students. The first one being the absolutely easy one that I downloaded and I present it or share it with my students over an email or a WhatsApp group if I have with them. However, I want to, if I want this information to be passed to them. The second option is I click on the share button and I allow my students to look at the link of the worksheet that I have created. So I can just, over here, I can say anyone with the link, especially my students, I can just copy this link and share this link again in my group or share it as an email. I can also publish it to web, as I already mentioned with previously that this is how I create a link for my creation, and I copy this and I share this with my students. And one of the most interesting and something that the teachers like using most is via Google Classroom or Teams. So you could connect those accounts over here. And if you are using Google Classroom or if you're using Teams, so you could just click on this button and you could share this with your classroom and all your students will have access to this worksheet.
So that is one of the brilliant ideas which I think all teachers should take notice. Via the Adobe Express, you automatically can link the worksheets that you created into the Google Classroom or in the Teams session. So there what happens is, again, you're using the potential of Google Classroom because you have a process to automate your responses. You also have a mechanism present with all of you that others can also see the projects which are happening. Now, we all know that peer learning is a very, very powerful tool which we need to access. But because of our classroom constraints, many of us cannot draw from the potential that they have to offer. And using Google Classroom with Adobe Express, I think it's a fantastic idea, and it's a win-win situation for both. So that's a very interesting tip that you shared, Jasmeet. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Pranita. So I have the QR code right in front of me, in which I want the teachers to scan this QR code and share their submissions with us on the Padlet, while I jump to the Padlet and show you what all creations have already been created. So you can actually take just a screenshot of it, or you could just take a picture of this one, and you could share your creations from today's session with us on the Padlet. And I would like to now move towards the Padlet, where I'll show you what all our teachers have been creating. So as you can see, this is a worksheet created on pollution by Piali Surpatra ma'am from Cambridge School, Srinivas Puri. Thank you so much, ma'am, for creating this worksheet. So she's talked about various kind of pollutions, and this is a very, very simple yet a very graphical worksheet, if you can see, and has presented it like very cleanly and simply. The other one is about environment, which is an infographic by Sinmoy ma'am from Assam. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing this. As you can all see, that it talks about environment, it talks about the biotic and abiotic components, and again a very beautiful worksheet and a simple worksheet that she has created. Another one that we have is the effects of climate change. So the one topic that we had taken up today. So you all can see a very simple worksheet, again, an infographic, I would rather say, that talks about the effect of climate change. And then there's one last, which is Nayan Moni Bharali from Assam, who talks about nature always wears the colors of the spirit. World Environment Day and World Earth Day has been mentioned, along with World Water Day and Nature Conservation Day. So thank you so much for sharing these creations. I'm actually going to go to the Padlet now, in which we will just scroll through and see all the creations that have been coming from various parts of the country, and all the teachers have been showing all of these beautiful creations and sharing these beautiful creations with us. Look at this one. I'll plant
this is very
till my last
inspiring.
breath. Yeah.
This is very inspiring. This
Yeah.
is very inspiring.
Yeah. And I could also see some of the teachers who have created web pages. There was this web page that was shared by one of the teachers called The Voice of the Rain. And there's a poem recitation in here, structure, talking about the author, and then also embedding a video in it. So I could see that the teacher has actually used all the features that are available, and along with that very cleanly and nicely described the entire like poem in form of however she wants to present it to her classroom. So you can see this is again a beautiful creation from this teacher who has shared this particular web page with us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Also, she has shared an assignment for students along with that.
So that's like a complete holistic package.
Yes.
So that's interesting. Is that link clickable?
Yes, yes. Let's
So
just click on this and
see
see
what happens.
Yeah, yeah. So let me just. I think ma'am has not shared this
That
with us.
must not be a public, open to
Public,
public.
open
Yes.
link.
So
Oh.
which is a very wise decision, because you don't want your classroom to be accessible to everybody. So I think that's a very wise decision on the teacher's part to not make her worksheet public. And teachers, we must also be very mindful of what we share with everybody, so that the open links are not misused and students are safe in this digital world. So that's a very interesting point, and I really like the structure in which she's taken us through in the poem, where she's also discussed about Walt Whitman. She's also spoken about the various tools that the poet has used to convey his message, and that's very interesting. Jasmeet, you had also shown us a submission which was done in Hindi. If you could just pull that up, please.
Yeah, sure. Actually, there are so many submissions in various languages. So there's this one that talks about Hindi Varnmala and Titli. If I click on this particular project, you all can see that this is again a very, very simple, I would say, worksheet that has been created. It's more of like a teacher's submission. You can see P. Nagaraju sir. He has also pasted his little picture
So
that looks
sweet.
yeah.
So
So he's created this Varnmala thing, and as you can see inside the butterfly, he has pasted all these letters. So how creative this becomes. Can you all see? Inside it, he has pasted all these letters talking about the Varnmala. So this is again a very, very interesting project, I would say, and interesting way to actually engage your students and help them see the nitty-gritties of whatever you have planned for them.
You know, so this, sorry to interrupt, Jasmine, this gives a very interesting idea. We all have a question of the day, we have the word of the day put up on the teachers who have a beautiful handwriting, use the class board. And now if we have a smart board in the class, we could also put an infographic of the day, a picture of the day, a summary of the day, which is created using tools like Adobe Express, and it acts as a refresher for students who come early, see, remember, and more importantly also understand that knowledge can be represented in these forms also. So that was a very interesting way. I thought Sir had used the tools to showcase the knowledge for his students. So any other interesting examples that you have, just
we have so many. We have more than 500 creations that have been shared with us.
Oh, that is brilliant.
So yeah, you can see there's one more which is like a lesson plan, or I would say like a simple infographic, again showing the type of plants. And actually the teacher has designed the entire lesson plan in this worksheet. So if you can see on my screen, it's created by Mamta Sati ma'am, and you can see it talks about the learning outcomes of the plan. It has the preparation of how she's going to talk about the entire garden and the variety of plants. It has what are the students going to learn and how the evaluation is going to get done. So in one graphic, she is like literally representing her entire lesson plan of how she's going to conduct these 4 elements inside her lesson for today's lesson. So how, again, innovative is that, like summing up my plan in one sheet.
No, not only that, and tomorrow if a school wishes to do team teaching, wishes to do an interdisciplinary class happening on the plants, so the science teacher can pitch in and say the seamless borders, within the classroom of geography, because geography is the soil, the culture, the soil, the environment, all those factors are responsible for the plants that grow in a particular region. So when the teacher, a social science teacher and a science teacher join hands together and they are able to seamlessly create a plan, the students don't realize when they're studying science, when they're studying social science, instead they learned the concepts in a very integrated manner, which I'm sure as teachers you would realize that classroom becomes a lot of fun and is very engaging for everybody. So that's also a very interesting perspective. I also remember that we had discussed visible thinking routines with our viewers in one of the sessions. So would you be able to show us any template that showcases a visible thinking routine, especially that can be used in the social science classroom by teachers in all their classes?
Yeah, sure. So I actually came up with one of those. You can see I have a KWL chart in front of me. So this is again an amazing way for teachers to sort of start their lesson and end their lesson as well. So starting their lesson with what I already know about the topic, what I want to know about the topic, and what I have learned. So this is something that the teachers can sort of make use of. And along with that, I also pulled up one very simple worksheet again that took my attention because of this little lady bug that you see. And again, natural resources, renewable, non-renewable resources, way to save natural resources. This is something that we could share with our students and they could create all of these creations with us. I'm going to go back to the Padlet and see if any of the teachers have shared any new submissions with us for today. And let's see if any of these submissions have come in. So I think this one worksheet or one something about Gujarat, a teacher has actually just put in this, where they have described all these things that are in Gujarat, and that's something that they have created. Along with that, I can also see that there are some animate from audio projects. Now I'm sure teachers, you use animate from audio already, but I think that's something that is very, very creative when we do it in smaller grades. So for example, grade 3 to 5, a younger classroom, right? So that is where it sort of brings in a lot of attention of the student and they're engaged and they're working towards the animation. So yeah, teachers, you have all the options, all of these options that are very, very creative, and teachers and students can work together on Express and create these amazing presentations, posters, animations, web pages, collate everything that you have created in the classroom and put it on this one single web page and maybe present it to your students or ask your students to do the same as well.
So that's very interesting. Sanjala ma'am and ma'am, I just had a question. Now that we've discussed how, how do parents feel about using this? What about your colleagues? I mean, do you all share your templates and web pages amongst each other, or do you use the web pages as a hand-holding page for your other co-teachers to, so advance the knowledge of the classroom? How do you work with Adobe Express as a collaborating tool within your own teaching community?
See, ma'am, the most important part of our job is to create holiday homework, whether it's a summer holiday or winter holiday. So this is the very important tool where we all the teachers sit together and discuss about the holiday homework, and then we share the link. Everybody puts their own inputs, whatever, and I think that is the integration of the thoughts. Everybody brainstorms there and put everybody's thoughts are there. So this is how we create the better and best, I would say, holiday home fun for our children.
That's very interesting. Ma'am, Vijayalakshmi ma'am.
Actually, if you talk about our school, teamwork leads to the creativity and also helping each other by achieving what we dream for.
Yes.
We dream for the betterment of the students. So teamwork helps, and in that Adobe comes there, where it helps for us a teamwork to be done in a better way. As you have said, web pages are a very vibrant thing where teachers pitch in, they put in the ideas, and I can say that among teachers also peer learning goes on. One helps the other in creating new flyers, infographics and all things. So for the teamwork, I think Adobe is the best tool which helps the teacher to pitch in together and do something good for the future generation, that is our students. That's what I like to say.
So thank you so much. So viewers, we have a change in the schedule. So we will have the next session on Monday. So please do join us on Monday for our next session on using the Adobe tools to enrich our classroom experience. On behalf of everybody here at NCERT and Adobe, I would like to thank Jasmeet, Sanjala ma'am and Vijayalakshmi ma'am for a very interesting perspective on how they have tried to create the social science class into a very engaging and a vibrant learning environment. Shortly on the screen, you will be seeing a feedback form that will help us become better in conducting trainings for all of you. We request all of you to scan this feedback form and share your feedback with us so that learning is also engaging for us also. From the studio here at CIET NCERT, we would like to take your leave and thank you so much for being present here with us. Namaste.